This has happened to you, right? You think about somebody, they just kind of fly into your head, and and then they call you either immediately after that or later that day or maybe the next day, and you go, I was just thinking about you. That's happened to you, right? Like a lot. And it's like, what is that? That intuition that somebody was going to call you? Maybe you just think it's coincidence. We call a lot of that stuff coincidence. But either you were thinking about them or they were thinking about you. There was some kind of connection. And that's why you weren't surprised when they called. That happens. But for some reason, and that's telepathic communication. You can call it that, or you can call it intuition, or you can call it coincidence. But it definitely happens. Or think about a time when you just knew something was up with a friend or a family member, somebody you were close to. You just knew something was up, and so you contacted them, texted them, or called them, or whatever. And sure enough, there was illness in the family, or something was going on. This has happened to you, right? It's not coincidence. You picked something up somewhere. It's that simple. Everybody does it. Now, some people have worked on strengthening that. It's not even a skill. We're born with it. We're born with that ability, strengthening that ability. Or some people just have it stronger. My grandma, my mother's mother, used to get visited by people before they died. I had a sister when I was 3, was hit by a car. She was 6 years old. And the night before she died, but before she was hit, no accident had happened yet. She went and told my grandma that she was going to die and goodbye. And my brother, I had a brother in his 20s who died in a house fire. And the night before the fire, he went and said goodbye to her. Now, he didn't say, I'm going to die in a fire, but he went and said goodbye to her. And so those are the people I know. And this happened. My grandma wasn't crazy. I mean, she wasn't making that up. It happened. So we have varying levels of ability, but all of us have had the experience of just knowing something was up or thinking about somebody and then we hear from them. It's a natural phenomenon, which is why in my classes, it's one of the first exercises is think of a time you knew what your dog was going to do or wanted without her saying anything at all. Just nonverbal communication. We all do it. We all do it. And I'm saying this because it makes me sad when people get so freaked out by animal communication as though it's something scary or weird. It's not. To me, it's natural. And it's an ability we've forgotten about or pushed down because we've been told it's weird or witchy or whatever. Um, but it's really quite natural that we're connected to each other in this way. And recently I had this has happened not a ton because when people call me, they want my services, right? But sometimes it's like, why did you call me or email me? And a woman just couldn't make that final step to try it because she just couldn't understand how it could possibly work. And I'm like, she first she thought I had to be there in person, and I went, no, it's telepathic. So it's better for me if I'm not there because there's not all that distraction. For the animal, for me, besides I don't need to go. We make an appointment. It happens at a certain time so that you're not like playing with your dog or walking him or whatever. Um, and I don't need you on the phone. I know a lot of communicators want you there, but I don't want to talk to you. I don't want that your thoughts interrupting. I just work with the animal, speak with the animal alone. And she was like, oh, oh. I said, so you don't even need to be home if you don't want to. You don't need to be there. It's fine if you want to be, but you don't need to be. And I said, my understanding is, oh, so then she said, sorry. She said, well, if I'm not there, how how do I keep him in front of the screen for you to talk to? I said, the screen? And this is through emails. Oh, it's not a Zoom. I'm sorry. And I know some people do this via Zoom rather than phone, but that's because they're talking to the person. I'm not interested in the person. You give me the questions ahead of time and then get out of the way, please. So there's not that chatter, right? So, there's no Zoom. You send me a photo, and I told her all this already. You send me a photo and you give me a sense of what you want, and then we'll start there. And the conversation will go from there. And then I'll send you notes afterwards, everything that we said. She couldn't understand. Okay, so there's no Zoom. I said, no, you don't need to be present. They don't need to be attentive. She said, how will I keep them attentive? You won't. Dogs, who knows what dogs are doing, right? They get quiet usually and take a nap. Cats, I've heard quite a few times people tell me that their cats leave the room when a session starts. They go off on their own. And when the session's over, they come back. And there was one client I had years ago who used to who used to go to her. The woman told me the cat would go to her hiding place, which everybody knew where it was, but her private place. And then when the session was over, she would come back and talk about the session. So, well, and this is Reiki also. I wasn't giving a ton of communications. This combination, the animal was sick, but they get it. So, so I told the woman this. She goes, "That's really interesting." They leave the room and they come back. And I went, "Yeah." And she said, "Okay." And then she emailed me back. This is all in the space of like half an hour. She goes, "But just to clarify, you use the phone line, right?" I was like, "No, the phone line." And I said, "Can your dog talk on the phone?" And then I realized I said that with a smiley face. And then I realized she didn't even mean that. She thought I needed to use the line. Yeah, what does that even mean? At the cell phone? What? So she didn't hire me. And it was, I was like, I can't tell you how it works. I just know that it does. And people know because I tell them things that I didn't, how could I have known them? I don't know these people. So it takes a bit of a leap of faith. I understand that. You can be nervous, but obviously I can't hurt your animal from a distance. What am I going to do? I This can't hurt them. And it's a shame to me that people have been so, I'll just say, brainwashed by our culture that intuitive communication, some people don't call it animal communication, they call it intuitive communication, which is what it is, or telepathic communication. I call it animal communication because my clients are animals and because people know that term. But it's telepathic or intuitive. And we're born with this ability. And so, you know, I urge people to get in touch with that ability because you have it and you're going to recognize that you use it from time to time. It happens, especially with your critters. If you're close to your animals, you know stuff. You know what they're thinking. You know what they want. How do you know? So anyway, it's just, no, I don't use phone lines and I don't talk to them on Zoom. And I'm sorry, I'm laughing at this person who will not know that that I'm talking about her. But it's really laughter that's like, darn, that's a shame to not be open to this. Her dog was ill and she wanted to know if her dog was ready to pass, if she wanted assistance. Such important work. I do a lot of that work. And the animals are so crystal clear. I've never been confused about what they're saying ever. Sometimes they say, yes, I'm ready, I want help. Sometimes they say, not quite, I'll talk to me in a week. No, seriously. And sometimes they're like, yeah, please. They're very clear. And usually the person already had a sense of it. And so this is a way of just, okay, thank you. So it's unfortunate when people can't take that last step to understand that it's real. So anyway, that's all. I just wanted to share that. No phone lines, no Zoom. It's easy. You're at your house. I'm at in my office, not this one, my animal office, and it's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful gift we've been given. So if you have any questions, I'm open. I'd love to hear them. You can drop them in the spot below the comment spot, and you can visit my website at wingedhorsehealing.com. com, and there's testimonials and stories, and there's more stuff on YouTube too. So thanks for listening. Talk to you soon. Take care.